Hey guys, I'm Heintje and it's time to hit some more bike parks. For this I went with a group of friends to the Harz in Germany. An area with multiple bike parks. We got to visit 4 of them during our stay. So this will be episode 2 of a Harz mini-series. In my previous video I already showed the MSB X trails. This time I'm featuring Bikepark Baurnlage located in Braunlage. Enjoy! First impressions are important. Unfortunately, they don't seem to care about that here. The start section is just terrible. The turns just don't flow at all. Not a good way to start the 2 main lines of a bike park. Let's hope this will not be the trend for the rest of the park. After this section, you get a split between the downhill and the freeride line. Again, not very original naming for the lines. It's efficient though. And while this one goes downhill, this is the freeride line. A line with a number of wooden features, some of them you could already scout from the lift. Now I would like to address this wheel tail in particular. I had to hit the brakes hard in order to ride it. You can approach it with so much speed that I even feel you can gap over the whole thing. But let's not do anything crazy while still warming up. Maybe later this day. For now, let's continue by casually clearing the road gap. Followed up by another feature to slow you down. I don't even want to know where you end up if you take this, whatever it is, at full speed. Probably the hospital. A couple of tables later we got to the last main feature, something blind. Something I could have done easily. Better be safe than sorry, right? Now the trail gets a bit technical. Nothing too crazy except when you try to ride it at speed. That can lead to real awkward situations.
Wat doe jij daar?
Oh! Wacht hè!
Oh!
Oh, mijn benen! Vol gas tegen tuin, man! Oh.
Heb je altijd een zadel in je wiel of?
Hij vloog vol dat ding en ik ging er vol uit.
Oh jee. Nou, daar is er eentje voorop.
Oh, mijn ballen, jongens. Oh.
Usually I regret missing crashes on camera. However, this time it just worked out perfect. So thank you Ben and Timer for this scene. At this point you can see the halfway station of the lift. Unfortunately, the rest of the trail feels like filler to get you to the bottom. So let me use the footage as filler for my subscription speech. I know it doesn't really matter for you if you're subscribed or not. If you watch a couple of my videos, the algorithm will suggest more of them anyway. To me it matters a lot. It's not just a number on my channel dashboard, it's a token of your appreciation for my videos, a sign you're interested in my future work. Even if all you can do is increase that number by just 1, that's what motivates me to keep making these videos. I'm truly grateful for each and every one of my subscribers. Now back to the trail. At this point the freeride and downhill line have merged again. So this part will reappear later in the video, when I address the downhill line. But first, let's see how much fun a downhill bike is on the so-called Enduro trail. This time the impressions are the other way around. Here the start is steep and technical. A good start I would say. Once you cross the road it gets even better. Maybe not so steep, but even more technical. The section where line choice makes a huge difference. This is really noticeable on subsequent runs, taking slightly better lines every time. So far the downhill part of the Enduro line, now the Enduro part, also known as the part where you have to pedal. Although it's not as bad as I made it sound, during a second run I noticed a lot more flow in the line. If you know what to expect, pick better lines and pump some more, this line is very rewarding. This brings me to the unique selling point of Bikepark Baurnlage. The runs are long. I know this is hard to show in an edited video, therefore I made a separate full run video of the downhill line. I'm sure you can find the link if you're interested in watching that one. This length, combined with the physicality, provides a training opportunity not many parks provide. Or you can do as we did, take some breaks during the run. A side effect of the long runs is that you and everyone else can get as many runs in compared to other parks. You can really see this in the trails. These are just not as worn out as you might expect in a bike park. Hell, except for a few wooden bridges, you almost forget you're in a bike park on this trail. That is until you get to the next section. For some reason, they built the best freeride section of the park, not on the freeride line, but on the Enduro line. A row of jumps that flow nice. They're a bit tricky to figure out, since they're pretty close after another, and some are just rollers. For the finale of this trail, you get treated with a fast section. It has the perfect amount of tech, enough to keep it interesting, not too much to slow you down, although maybe this section is a bit too fast. If you feel this trail was still on the easy side and you want more of a challenge, they have you covered with a single trail line. Some trails have flow, others don't. This one however is pure anti-flow, like every rock is placed in a way to grab your front wheel and stop you. Now looking back at the footage, I'm starting to see a few lines that look rideable. However, when riding this one, I was already happy to not go over the bars. You really need to be a trail reading god or session the hell out of it to find flow here. Eventually the trail becomes more rideable and even gets a few man-made features. First this tiny drop. I thought it would be kinda the same as all the other drops in the park, and seeing my friend ride it added to that thought. Turned out this one is meant to be approached from the high line, not from the line we took. And of course this one had a bit of a gap. Luckily we both somehow managed to get over it. After the scare we immediately came to the next drop. Due to the width you'll expect a lot of it. Combined with the experience we had just a few seconds ago, we did check it out first.
Ja, bij deze wel, ja.
And what do you think? Yeah, this one was the simplest thing ever. Good takeoff, perfect landing, hell, it even has a case pad. After that, the trail continues in the same style as the Enduro line, until it eventually merges with it. The single trail line is hard to rate. I'm sure it's a lot of fun when you know the lines to take. However, not that much fun if you don't know where to go. Something that kinda prevents you from riding it more and getting to know the lines. Anyway, when you visit this park and want something challenging you don't just find in other parks, you'll have to give this one a try. By the way, I hope you have a best guide on your bike. For me it's time to move on to the second main line of the park, the downhill line. This one summarizes the whole park nicely. I have to confess, I already rode this line as the very first trail of the day, even the whole weekend. At that point I found it kinda boring. However, during this run I fell in love with the line. Now I was used to the loose and slippery conditions, allowing me to go so much faster. That brings me to the unique selling point of Bikepark Baurnlage. This park has so many long straight tech sections. Sections where you can really pick up a lot of speed, if you dare, while still being technical, a combination that not many parks offer. Often you have fast flow lines or slow tech lines. The challenge comes from the trails not being polished, or at least not as much as the trails in most other parks are. Sure, in some sections you can see the rocks are placed in a way to smooth out the ride, and they even build some bridges. On other sections this is definitely not the case. Here you really have to pick your line carefully, even on a downhill bike. Before I show the bottom section, let's go back to the top for one more run of this trail. I have to explain the setting for this run. Including stopping at some points, the previous run took me around 10 minutes. When we started this run, it was a quarter before lift closing time. So I didn't have to race down to catch the last uplift of the day, but I shouldn't waste too much time either. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. That's right, a flat tire.
Oh fuck.
Now the
You
question,
wouldn't say so.
can I fix a tire within 5 minutes? Step 1, pumping it up and hoping the sealant would do his job failed. Turned out this was a pinch flat. So let's see what killed my chances to catch the last ride up while I'll plug the 2 holes. I think I hit this brick-shaped rock just on the side. Therefore only half my tire had to handle the impact, something my tire pressure was obviously too low for.
Nou, kijken of hij het volhoudt.
With the tire fixed, presumably, it was time to continue. Unfortunately, the hole was bigger than I initially thought, so one more plug needed. Even though the lift was already closed and my tire now had 3 plugs in it, this was no reason to slow down for the last section. While I do so, let me conclude the video. Braunlage is a unique bike park. I'm just not sure this is a positive or a negative. During your first lift up the mountain, you'll see a lot of cool looking features that turn out to be a bit underwhelming. Of course, this is very much depending on your skill level. Only compared to other parks, the level of the features is on the low side. Then you have the more technical sections. These feel underwhelming as well, at first at least. All sections feel like they didn't really make a trail, just rode down in the straightest line and a trail occurred.
Ja, helemaal niks over.
However, once you get into the flow of the day and let go of the brakes a bit more, these trails become so much fun, no matter your skill level. One other thing I have to mention is the price. This park is the most expensive one in the region. Sure, one of them has to claim the title. However, everything feels like they put in the minimal effort possible, just enough maintenance to keep it safe and rideable. For the €42 they ask for a day ticket, I would expect more than the 4 lines they have, be it the 4 long lines. Anyway, time to end the video. As always, thank you so very much for watching. Remember, if you want to watch the full downhill run, there should be a link on the screen right now. Otherwise, there will be one in the description. I hope to see you back for my next video, probably about Bikepark Baurnlage. Till then, have fun riding. Houdoe!